What's going on? Brian Tong here, and welcome to the Apple Bits for everything good and bad inside the world of Apple. There's just so much happening right now, so we're gonna get you up to speed. We've got Apple pre-orders, those are happening. We have more drama around the Magic Keyboard. Reports say Apple's M2 are on their way soon, plus Apple had another record earnings, and then iOS 14.5 came out as well. Woo! I told you, there is a lot going on. So let's just start off with the latest and then work through it all. There's obviously been a lot of speculation and back and forth with reports around the new Magic Keyboard. Well, the new iPad Pro is 0.5 millimeters thicker and 0.11 pounds heavier, but people have been upset when they heard the reports that, hey, maybe the previous Magic Keyboard from last year that a lot of you paid $349 will not be compatible with the new iPad Pro. Now, we haven't heard the official word from Apple until now, so does it fit or not? The answer is kinda. The new 2021 Magic Keyboard that comes in black and white will be a perfect fit with the new iPad Pro, and it should be, but in a Magic Keyboard support document from Apple, it now says the first generation of the Magic Keyboard A1998 is functionally compatible with the new iPad Pro 12.9-inch 5th generation with Liquid Retina XDR display. Due to the slightly thicker dimensions of this new Pro, it's possible that the Magic Keyboard may not precisely fit when closed, especially when screen protectors are applied. So it works. Functionally, it works. Like if you slap it on there and keep it open, it works, but it may not really close completely, and it's not completely unusable, but it kind of works. Like I feel like I kind of dodged a bullet because I didn't use the Magic Keyboard case enough. Then once pandemic hit, I wasn't going anywhere, so I never bought one. Now we're just gonna have to see how well it fits or doesn't fit when it's closed. But if I had purchased one thinking this is the form factor for the iPad Pro moving forward, I'd be screaming, that's a bad Apple. Ew! And trust me, plenty of you have messaged me directly saying just that, so I threw that bad Apple out for all of you, but it's not an ideal situation for a lot of you. Now, I doubt Apple does anything like a trade-in program, so if you bought a 2018 or 2020 iPad Pro and you got a Magic Keyboard, I'm sorry, but that just sucks. Now, the new iPad Pro, the new colorful iMacs, and the new Apple TV 4K, or just the remote for me, they're going to be available for pre-order on Friday, April the 30th at 5 a.m. Pacific time. Now, last week, for the AirTags pre-order, Apple was nice enough to put a message on their website while we were waiting that said, "You're early. Enjoy the extra sleep." Hey, Apple, that was 5 a.m. my time. I got no extra sleep. But Apple, they may have leaked the release dates for the new products because after Apple posted a reminder for their pre-orders on their newsroom page, Jason Atten on Twitter dug through the metadata and found a mention on its UK and Australian pages that all the new devices are going to be available on May 21st. And you know how you know it's probably true? Well, Apple then removed the references to that May 21st date from the websites. So May 21st it is, semi-officially? And I'm not trying to get everyone to rush out and, get on the pre-order, but if you haven't heard, there is a huge chip shortage that's affecting every electronics company worldwide, and Apple won't be immune to it either. In the recent earnings report, which we will get into later, CEO Tim Cook didn't get into specifics, but he said that the chip shortages will primarily affect the iPad and the new iMac. The expectation is that Apple will have lower supply compared to the demand for those products, and it's too difficult to tell when the chip shortage will be resolved. Now, Apple said it's so significant that they expect it to bring down their revenue for the next quarter by $3 to $4 billion because of this chip shortage for the new iPad and the iMac. So again, I'm not saying you should rush the pre-order. Please don't, because I'm gonna be waiting in there too. Like, I need to get through. But it's not only PS5s and Xboxes and other companies' products that will be harder to get. It's also going to affect Apple's new product lineup. Now, if we're talking new products, and probably the juiciest rumor report that I've been waiting for, according to Nikkei Asia, Apple's next-gen processor after the M1, which is unofficially called the M2, will be entering mass production this month. The processors take roughly 3 months to produce, and if that's the case, they could be ready to ship as early as July, according to the report. But I would just slow down because Apple has shown that they aren't going to rush this, and they don't need to rush this. So I still plan on them coming out sometime in the second half of the year. I would say definitely after July. They have an official announcement in June, and if they did that, it would feel way too early. If anything, maybe we'll get at least a preview of the M2 at WWDC, but Apple is pretty aggressive with their showcase in the spring. Could we see more than just a preview? Well, that's just a month away, so we'll find out. But really, the expectation is that this new beefier M2 processor will be put inside the new rumored 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pros, and possibly a larger screen iMac that we haven't seen yet, but have heard plenty of rumors about. You know, it's that same iMac that a bunch of people decided to scream at Apple for not releasing one, when we're all pretty sure some type of bigger iMac Pro is still coming eventually. Instead, you all, or they all, like, directed their anger at Apple's new colored iMacs that are made to bring out happy vibes and joy. So hey, just because you don't get what you want doesn't immediately mean that something else is bad. No, but it's exciting to hear, you know, if true, the M2 could be on its way very, very soon, and to think that it could just blow the M1 out of the water, oh, I can't wait. All right, let's take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video, Otis. Otis is an app that you can download and sign up for free, and the best way to describe it is that it's the stock market for culture, or an alternative investment app that allows you to buy or sell shares of culturally relevant pieces. Now, there are weekly drops of new items that range from art to collector's pieces like comics and cards, or even sneakers, and I'm a collector of all those things. Otis gives you an opportunity to co-own a share of these items that you can buy or sell at any time. I'm a sneaker collector, but if I'm looking at this like an investment, items that have the chance to go up the most are the comics and cards. So check out this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. It's one of the rarest comics out there, and this is the highest graded copy you can find. Plus, it's a part of my childhood. The other comic that gets me excited, Hulk 181, which features the first appearance of Wolverine. He's coming back to the MCU eventually, and it's one of the most iconic comic book covers as well. Now, if we're talking sports cards, I'm loving this LeBron James Topps Chrome Refractor rookie with the gem mint grade. Look, he's already a legend with a whole lot more game to be played. Otis is the stock market for culture, and it's currently only available in the US. So sign up for Otis with the link in my description and get your first share for free when you fund your account. Terms apply. Okay, back to the stories, and let's get to those crazy Apple earnings. The pandemic may have turned the world upside down. We cannot understate just how damaging it was, and still is. But in doing so, Apple benefited, and benefited big time, with people staying home, working remotely, or going to school if they could. Now, Apple had another record quarter with $89.6 billion in revenue, compared to $58.3 billion in revenue a year ago in the same quarter, and a profit of $23.6 billion compared to $11.2 billion compared to a year ago. That's a 54% increase, and we're talking about Apple, one of the biggest companies in the world, putting out numbers like this. That's just wild. Now, iPhone revenue was up 65%. Apple said iPhone 12 has been the most popular model, with strong sales of the Pro and Pro Max. iPad up 78%. Wearables were up 24%. The Mac and services hit all-time records for the quarter. Mac revenue was up 70%, and services were up 26%. Now, these numbers are just insane. So in case if you're wondering, Apple is doing just fine. All right, iOS 14.5 was recently released, and many of you have updated. The biggest feature change for me, just being able to unlock your Apple Watch while wearing a mask. You'll need to update both your iPhone and your Apple Watch to do it, but once you do that, you're gonna need to go into the Face ID section inside your settings to manually turn on the feature to unlock with Apple Watch. If you have multiple Apple Watches that are linked to the same phone, then you'll have to turn on the feature for each watch, but this works like a charm. You can also now use Apple Fitness with other AirPlay 2 compatible TVs. Multiple people asked me about this when it first came out, so I know it's important for some of you. You're gonna also need iOS 14.5 to add support for the new AirTags with the Find My app, and you'll only be able to use precision finding on the iPhone 11 and 12 with AirTags. You'll be able to report incidences like a car accident or hazard on Apple Maps now. There's dual SIM 5G support. Also, new emojis, which might be one of the most important updates of all. Not really. But there's also an iPhone 11 battery recalibration tool for people who own the earlier iPhone. You can now pair your PS5 or Xbox Series X controller as a Bluetooth controller to your iPhone. If you're an Apple Music subscriber, you can share lyrics of a song to others, but that still won't get me to sign up. And then we have Apple's app tracking transparency feature that asks apps for your permission before they track you. So I'm gonna have to see how handy it comes in, but it hasn't been asking me about apps I already have installed. At least I haven't noticed it yet, but there's just so many other smaller features and updates along with these. Now, iOS 14.5 is significant, and so far I've had no stability issues. I did the update on a phone that has never run the beta on it, but I still didn't get the new updated podcast app. And honestly, after hearing so many people complain about the new interface, getting old episodes re-downloaded, having to delete them, even having problems finding new episodes. Maybe it's a good thing I haven't switched over, or it hasn't switched over for me. But overall, with my daily use on iOS 14.5, the Apple Watch unlock feature is really worth it alone for me, which could potentially also be a way for Apple to get rid of the notch in the future. You know how much I love that. It just works perfectly so far if you have an Apple Watch. All right, that's gonna do it for this video. If you like what you see, give me that thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get all my videos when they drop. Plus, if you want to get more Apple goodness, you can check out my Apple Bits XL audio podcast and get the latest deep dive with all these stories and new ones every week with special guests. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care and be safe. And pre-orders, I'll be there. You be there. You might be watching this before you pre-order or after you pre-order. Anyways, May 21st. I guess that's when they're coming out. See ya.